ever noticed that one event could happen in society and every single one of us could see it differently? Have you noticed that we can see one simple thing on social media and somehow there are so many different perspectives? And years ago I came about this and I wanted to study it. I wanted to understand what caused us to see things so drastically differently. And one of the things I came up with is this theory called the circles of grace. The circles of grace is what I call it. And if I could put it this way, who do we tend to give the most grace or the benefit of the doubt when something happens? Yes, ourselves, you. We tend to give the most grace to ourselves because we knew what we meant, we knew our intention, right? But who comes after that? Family members and friends. And that's how you can have a mom that little Johnny could have done something. She's like, not my little Johnny would have never done that. Little Johnny could be in the security camera like, Mom, I did it. And she's like, little Johnny would have never done that. Must have been little Johnny's evil twin, right? And you can see that over and over again where somebody in society could commit a heinous crime, but family members and friends would just, they wouldn't do that. I know that person. They're just a good person, right? But then who comes after that? People like us, or people like those that we love. And that's how you can have somebody say, well, that could have been like my mom. That could have been my brother. Or that could have been my son. And then after that comes everyone else. And where is everyone else? Yeah, they're outside of the circles. They are given no grace, no benefit of the doubt. They are guilty until proven innocent. Now, you want to know who that was for me about 3 years ago? About 3 years ago, that was for me, my everyone else, my 0% grace, police officers. Anytime a story happened, big or small, made the news, didn't make the news, and I heard about it, my automatic reaction was, what did they do this time? Right? And it wasn't until some time ago where an event happened and I was posted on my page like I'm getting sick and tired of these injustices happening to young black men, and I'm just posting, and you know everybody on our page already agrees with us. So everybody's like, yeah. And then there's one bold lady, this young white lady, she posted on my page and said, Justin, I think we need to be careful how we entreat cops. And you want to know my honest first reaction internally was not on my page. But fortunately, I didn't process and act that way. And some inkling of wisdom came over me, and it had me type in a semblance of these 3 words, which I hope and pray would be in every single one of our vocabularies. And these 3 words were, tell me more. And we took it off the most dangerous section of a page, the comment section. And she began to tell me how her husband was a police officer and how he understood that there were issues systematically and that were going on in the institution, but that he as an individual was fighting with everything he had to solve and to help, and he loved the community and they feared for his life going out. And the more and more I began to hear her story, the more and more my heart began to change, because you see, I wasn't a police officer. I didn't have family members or friends who were police officers. I didn't identify people like me or like those that I loved as police officers. And so I automatically started them off at everyone else. And as I heard her story, it began to change. But you know where that also happened? I fly a lot, sitting on a plane. A gentleman of Middle Eastern descent gets on the plane, traditional Muslim garb. My body posture doesn't change. My facial expression doesn't change. Not a word is uttered out my mouth, but inside my mind, I'm asking myself the question, am I safe? You know who I didn't do that to? I didn't do that to the white businesswoman who got on before him, or the African-American gentleman with fitted hat and Timbs, or even the Latino gentleman several passengers later. And I realized that I didn't have anyone in my circles of grace. And you know, where do we get information about people if they're not in our circles? Yes, you're right. The media. It's second or third hand information. Has anybody ever talked about you but never talked to you? We never like that. But we do that for other people. So I encourage you to build one more circle within your circles of grace. And that's of meaningful relationships and exposure. And the reason I say meaningful is because you can have a relationship that doesn't talk about real issues. But when you have meaningful relationships, it begins to bring people into your circle where they may become people like you or like those that you love, or even family members and friends. And I began in our townhome community, I began engaging more of Saudi Arabian families and asking questions and hearing more of their responses, their answers. What does it feel like growing up Muslim in America, and other different things? And the more I heard their story, the more my heart, as well as my mind, began to shift. But it's not just about me. Who is your everyone else? And what will you do to begin to enlarge your circles of grace?